This is a big old mobile suites. We're gonna go up there and take a look at the roof and show you what we got. We're gonna do it. I'm gonna do it right now, but you don't need to see me walk across my shop, so I'm gonna. Well, here it is. Alrighty, so we've got all this. It's just underlayment. That's all it is. We're gonna protect the awnings. We protect all that. Luggage rail coming off, out of here. So you can see somebody tried to slather more on, but look at here. Just kind of pulling it with my finger, my thumb, big fat finger thumb. So, but someone else tried to slobber. These always leak. The other place these leak is right here. See that little gap? It'll get down in there. As you can see all the rust right there on the other side. So this doesn't work. That's what they want you to do. Slobber more on, moron. That's what they want you to do. Because it doesn't work. The system, what they're trying to do is exploit your ignorance to roof systems. And heck, if I can sell you this stuff for 14 bucks a tube and get you to keep slathering some more on every few months, burning up 5 tubes, all these coaches out here, it's their cash cow. So no, don't fall for that. Don't fall for that nonsense. That's ridiculous. They just they slop these things together. It doesn't matter how much you pay for it. And Mobile Suites is supposed to be the upper end of coaches, and they're all the same. It doesn't matter how much you pay. They're all the same. They're all the same. So you can see right here how they got the air conditioner mounted here, and all that water is going to run right up underneath there. It looks like they had issues with it before, and they bolted. This air conditioner is bolted to the roof, and those are probably the bolts. What they did is slobbered it with caulking on there to try to seal it. Now, that's just a wrong application. But all that water is going to hit that gasket inside there, all that pollen, all that dirt. I'll bet when we pull that off, you know, we're going to see a whole bunch of crap underneath there, more than likely. But it just will start basically breaking down the foam gasket, and then it'll start leaking. And this roof, let's see if I can show you on here. I mean, you can kind of, yeah, you can kind of see how it slopes down. This is rolling down, so this water, even if it's just parked, all that water is still going to rush down this way onto this air conditioner. So, like you said, this stuff here is just underlayment. We're going to put a wrap on top of this and make sure we protect the awning. That's what we do. And right now, they haven't even finished putting everything together. We still got a front rail and everything, so we can walk all the way around and do our job nice and easy. So, this is... like I said, this is the way they mount them, like that. So, yeah, there are the bolts. They just screwed that right through the roof. Right through the roof, and they just put that self-leveling. That's all they did, is boogered it. And you can see the lip edge of this bead. I can't reach it, but that lip edge, you can see it's already raising up, so it's got to be leaking. And then, you know, they got that foam gasket up underneath there. See if I can get that for you. You see that foam gasket? It's just a wrong application. It's just wrong insulation. So, and then I did one of these before, and we found this plumbing over here. This is a slide out. And I was like, where the heck did that go? So I was wondering if it went somewhere else. So what Mobile Suites is, really isn't any plumbing. It looks like a plumbing event, but it's not. What it is just an access. You can pop that off if you want to run wires or satellite or something. I had to call Mobile Suites to find out. But anyhow, you see someone already went along here to put more on. These all cracked, so we'll replace all this. I'm guessing it's cracked because it's going all the way around, you know. So look at there, and look at that was easy to do. It's all loose. It's not gonna stick. It's a ploy. It's like the COVID. It's a scam. It's a scam. Yeah, all loose. So once we get this roof deck up, once we get the roofing off, get all of this down, get all this off of the roof, then what we're going to do is take the decking up. We're going to check all the trunk lines, all the wires. We do all that. So you got a couple of plumbing over there. You got a plumbing right there. Antenna is gone. I cannot put those antennas back on. Those antennas, there's a shaft that goes down basically through the roof and the attic area, if you will, into the ceiling. Then there's that crank. But it only bites on about 3/8 of an inch. For me to try to actually, if I were to build a curb for it, that shaft will be up inside above the ceiling. So that being said, I'm not going to try and rebuild an old antenna like that thing. It just isn't worth it. Just put another one on. And I'm not sure if we've got one or not. We may have it. I'll check. But you can also see, like, this is really compromised right there. And I'll try and see if I can walk around for you. Did you want to show me something?
Yes.
Did you want to show our fine?
Yes. Here's oil from a leak on the air compressor, on the compressor.
That's what that is. That's oil from a leak on a compressor.
And here's where the leak is, right here. When they pinched it together, it's been vibrating back and forth, and there's your leak.
Yeah.
So everything's gone out.
Okay, so what do we do with that? Duct tape?
No.
Oh.
JB Weld.
JB Weld. We're going to put some fancy stuff on there. Yeah. He'll silver solder all that back together. So it's probably obviously got to be recharged.
Oh yeah.
So,
no problem.
And then we make a special curb for this, and the ones that I design up for this, we're going to have regular bolts. So now, when someone else has to service it years from now, if they ever do, they can unscrew it and screw it back down without a problem. Where, like I said, on the way they did this here, you keep running screws through that plywood, it's just going to waller it out. You're not going to have anything. But we did one that it was damn near ready to fall right off because there was big holes in it. So, but that's what we'll do. But that fine gentleman is our AC guy. He's a guru. Yeah, we've been doing this longer than I am old. Yep, many years in there. Come around here. See if I can show you something over here. All right. Let me scooch on by. So if you have one of these antennas right here where the wire comes down that boot, pull that boot up, seal it. See how dry that boot's getting? That's really dry. So pull that boot up. Pull it up, load it with some caulking, because water can trickle down right inside there and it'll go right inside your coach. So, and again, you can see how they just slobbered some stuff on here. And see how it's not sticking? That does not stick. It seems like it may, but it's not. That's why they want you to do it, you know, to put more on. More on. That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. Imagine buying a set of tires and you roll out of there and you pay your bill and everything. Guy shakes your hand, says, "Hey, by the way, sir, you're gonna have to put air in them every 3 to 4 months because they're gonna go dead flat on you." You're like, "What? Were you kidding me?" So this is their way of getting their 365 days. That's all you got. And they'll say you have a 10-year, 12-year, whatever warranty, but that's on the actual material. That's on this. So unless this fails, then there's nothing they're going to do. And even if they did, all they're going to do is give you back, you know, whatever it is for the length of the roofing material. It doesn't include labor or anything else. And most of them are written like that. Even the ones that we have, they're written like that. It's a commercial brand, and they'll say, "Oh, well, it failed. Yeah, okay, here's whatever 40 feet of it or whatever you need." But that's why we want people to come back, because I want to catch any problems with it before it becomes a problem. And then I get my rep. I've never, ever, ever had to do that. Even since we've been doing commercial work, I've never had to replace a failed roof, because they test these things on a commercial level. They test the heck out of them. This is just cheap. This is just cheap RV grade. This is real thin. This is cheap RV grade. It's kind of like General Motors brand of it's Chevy Chevette. It was a car. They're not bragging about it, but it was a car. But what we're going to be putting on is the Escalade. So it's going to be a lot thicker. It's going to have a structured membrane to it, and it'll have a weave in it and so forth. But it's all commercial. Everything we use is all commercial. So that being said, these are not DIY videos. It's not intended to be a DIY video. And I don't say that because I'm not trying to teach somebody something. I don't want someone to come up here and go, "Oh yeah, I see how he does. I'm going to do it that way." There's a lot of other steps that are not on camera here, that we're not recording, that need to be done. It's a process, and all you have to do is skip 1 or 2 of those processes, and you're going to have a leak. So that's why, you know, I don't endorse it. And I have some guys call me up, ask me a whole bunch of questions, and even some question like, "What size screws do I use?" If I got to answer that question, you probably shouldn't be putting the roof on, you know. But anyhow, he's going to be taking all this apart. We'll get all that done. And then this is a rain sensor for the awning right there. And that's about it. But boy, you can see, even on the back end, boy, they just slobbered the heck out of it with that self-leveling stuff. And we'll just end up getting rid of all these. I build custom boots for them. And if you've watched the other videos, you'll see what we've been doing. Got a little rip in here, it looks like, a little score. But anyhow, we're going to get it back together. Like I said, I'll be making some custom curves for all that. We don't sell anything either, by the way. Nothing. We don't sell anything. All the curves, boots, everything I make and everything I build is all proprietary to us. So now we're going to get to work. We're going to start marking things off, and then that's what we do. So we mark everything so we know that it's going to go back in the same spot, and we won't have issues with alignments of laterally or elevation wise. We do all that. Obviously we don't care about the luggage rails, those will be going, but probably pretty much everything else that we need to know we'll make notes on the side. And let us get to work. All this blah blah blah, we're not getting nothing done. Quiet on the set. Look at this mess we got. This is a fleece back TPO. It is TPO. It's not anything like what we use. Really thin. Put on the back. See, it's got all that fleece, and it sticks to the roof. So on the decking. So obviously, and this looks like a Luan. It doesn't even look like a. It doesn't look like a. Like decking, meaning like half-inch and so forth. Got some D-lam over there, which I kind of suspected because that's where the air conditioner is, and they got the holes right there. So, you know, we got some browning there, blacking there. It looks like it had some damage to it for sure. So we're gonna see what we can do to loosen her up, see what's up underneath it. But my guess is that, you know, this is pretty thin, and until we actually get under it, because it does look like a Luan to me. We'll find out, but that's what we're doing, trying to get all this up, and we have to cut it in sections and all that jazz. So, because it sticks real well, that I'll give it. And they use fleece back in commercial applications as well. They do, because the fleece on it really helps it to hold well. Like I said, the stuff we use is a structured membrane. This isn't structured, so the impact from hail and tree branches, the stuff we use would have more resistance to it. It's a 60 mil. This here is like a, I don't know, maybe a 28 or something. I don't even know if it's 28. That looks really thin. Our sheet, I don't have a piece, but our sheet, the top part is the actual roof, and then it has what's called a base, and you can see the two color differences on it. But the TPO coating is thicker than this, and even the base is thicker than that. So it's at least twice as thick as this stuff, at least that. Probably closer to 3 times as thick. But anyhow, that's what we're doing, just trying to tear everything up. I figured I'd just give you a little vid on here and show you what we got. And then the next stage is we'll take all this off. I like to try to take the roof off just so I can see what's going on underneath it, you know, so I can kind of prepare for what I got to do, what stock and materials I may need. So, all right, but we will give you more updates here when we get them. Well, I've been duped. So when I showed you over there on that AC, when I showed you over there about the D-lam, and I said, oh, it's only 5 mil. It's not. That's half-inch. But it's this top layer is the one that's delaminated a bit over here. Okay? That's why I thought it was 5 mil. So we got to remove some of this plywood for sure, and put some new stuff down. When we come around here, you want to look for, they put grommets in all of these, so that's a plus. I like that. They don't do them in all of them, but that's why we open them up like we do. We want to check. We don't want to close it up. Next thing we'll do when we get this opened up, we're going to check for the duct lines, make sure all the trunk lines for the AC. I want to make sure they're all taped up well. You know, see, we put blockers in here so we don't get crap in your coach. You don't want crap in your coach. So, looks like it's got some good insulation. There was a plumbing pipe here, but it's not really a plumbing pipe. There's it's wires, it's an access. There's nothing here. I had that on another one, and I called Mobile Suites. I said, y'all forget to put a plumbing vent in there? I said, no, it's just an access. I think there's another one over here, down that way. There's another one. So, but we are coming along. This is good about all our scaffold. We can walk all around the coach and look at things and inspect things, see even the 120 lines. That's what I'm looking for. I want to make sure these things aren't compromised at all. So they all get the grommets in them. That's really good. So that's what we're doing now, is tearing her up. We're going to tear it up. And once we get it all tore up, like I said, we'll check everything else on these. We'll remove all the insulation, because I do want to check those trunk lines. All right. Onward and upward.
Our Big Mobile Suites is naked. Naked.
Look how much money they save on dumpster fees. I don't know. They're all taped up. But we'll get rid of all those, of course. Alright, so what are we looking for? A lot of people say, hey, you know what? You could spray over that roof. Sure, spray over it. And then after you spray over it, you find out you got broken trunk lines here. Look there. See? A big agape. Agape. That's broke. You see this one here? We'll check. I can't see too well from there. We'll get up there and check it. I'm sure this is going to have to be retaped in there. And these just foam anyways. Here's another one. It's just flimsy. They just give it one licking. That's it. Give her a licking. So we're going to see right here too. Okay. So we'll get all that. Actually a couple more up here. All the wires look good. I like that. The wires are kept back. That's awesome there. And here's another one of those. I think it was a plumbing for an Axis. I don't think that was the antenna. But obviously got a plumbing here. But I believe there's only one in this coach. One plumbing. That's all we can see. And look at this one here. That one there is pretty bad too. And it'll just, I mean, you can just ever so slightly pop that loose. But look at how it broke right here. See? All these need to be redone. You can't get all that sawdust and stuff out of there. I'm a true believer. If it looks clean, then you can see more of what you're doing. So we had to get our AC guru up here, and he's going to hit it with a lickings of some tape. He's proud of that tape. 40 something dollars a roll of tape. We don't use the cheap stuff. But actually the tape that we use actually literally has a foil of aluminum on it. Like, and it's real thin, but it is like real aluminum on there, not just that kind of look or coating. It's real duct tape for the job. So he said that's what we need. If that's what we need, that's what we get. So like I said, I want to look at all of this. The other thing I'm checking here, and I want guys to check these trusses. On the last coach we did, they were all coming apart. You know, I just want to make sure everything's secure before we just go, hey, let's put her back together. Then kind of find out, you know, something. You know, so we do our best to look over everything. That frame looks okay. What it is what you're looking at is really the staining from the plywood, but the frame itself looks fine. It doesn't look rotted or moldy or anything like that. It's just some discoloration from the condensation or just the water. More sawdust in there, as you can see. So, like I said, we'll check all these. See, it's all squashed down. There's not much we can do with that because they tried to make this transition coming down, but we can fix this one here. You know, that one's coming apart. Like I said, well, this is what we're going to do. Check all of them. Check them all. Make sure it's groovy. There's another one right here. And I like to show you guys this because too many people just go, hey, yeah, you can just slap a roof on, you don't do this, you don't tear the deck up, you don't do that. Look what's underneath there. Don't trust the company who built your coach. I promise you, don't trust the company that built your coach. They just want to get them built, get them out, get them sold. So now you need some work done. You go, hey, I'm going to spend whatever, and you spend quite a bit of money to get a roof put on it. Even if it's a low-grade roof and you spend something, you know, then, hey, honey, I can hear the AC going, but I can't feel no air. Oh, okay. So you call somebody, say, what's it going to take to fix it? Well, get tear the roof up, seal it out. Something's coming. And then you fix that one. Maybe they put one of the borescopes in there, right? Or endoscopes. And they find to go, hey, there it is. It's this one right here. We don't have to tear the whole ceiling out. Boom. Okay. Fix it. A couple months later. Hey, I can hear the air conditioner. No air coming out. Oh, yeah, that's because it's that other one. So we put the endoscope in there, boom, fix that one. They tear that part of the ceiling out instead of the whole thing, right? And a couple more months later, you see what I'm getting at, right? It's fix it all at once. Just do it right. No one wants to start doing all this because you just make a mess of your coach. Then you got little patches in your ceiling, unless you're crazy enough to try to tear out the roof for it. But that's why we want to do it all at once. That's why. And the other thing, no glue. No glue. And if you look right here, you can see that screw hole, right? They're wallered out. they're wallered out. So when this coach is going down the road and it's rocking and shifting, especially when you're screwing into aluminum, and this is a light gauge too, there it is. But it'll waller, okay? And then the roof deck comes loose. These need to be glued down. We're going to glue them down, but they need to be glued down, you know? There's a little screw right there that they use. And I don't know if you can see it, but I'll see if I can. It's very light right now. Like, as I'm wiggling it and I can feel it moving. Let's see if I get the camera a little better. Get out my fat hands. It's ever so slight, but it is moving. And they'll all move. And then eventually, what happens is all that racking, twisting, flexing, it taxes, if you will, it taxes the screws. And you can see they didn't put a whole bunch of screws in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7 or 8 going across there. Maybe some have a couple extras. You can see these doubles, that's because that's where the brake was, right? You had one sheet here, one sheet there. But they didn't put a whole bunch of screws in it. Look at this one here. This is 1, 2, here's number 3. You're kidding me, number 3 is way over there. 4, there's like 5 screws in this thing, 5 little pissant screws like that. That's crazy. Get it built, get it built, get it out, get it sold. They chant that in the factory, so this is why we want to do a nice thorough job and make sure it is done completely. All right, let us get to taping and stop the yammering, and maybe we get more work done. All right, some of the problem that we got right here is that it was kind of caved in and you can't tape it well, you know? So we got that one right, and we'll show you how we fix that. We made an aluminum piece to go inside there. It's just a sleeve. We're going to take this aluminum sleeve, we're going to put it inside there, and it'll join these two together, and then we'll tape it. It'll fit right in. So, like this. I'll give it back to you in a minute. This is going to fit in like that and slide in. But basically act like a coupler. And that's how we got to do that one and a few others. So we made quite a few of them up to make sure it's right. And then we tape the heck out of all this, you know, and we'll check all that too. And then backing everything up. Then we fitted all the pieces in there, tried to clean this up the best we could. You're still going to have some residue on there. We'll wash the best we can, but you will see some of it, even though we put our churn bar on. So that's what we're working on now. We can try and clean up some of this crap on the edge here. Clean all that off. So I was showing you these bushings here that they put in, which is pretty good. That's what we want to see. And then I come across this. See, that's not cool. Those are really sharp. So we got to put something in there. And I don't want those wires getting compromised. All these are just little bushings. They're electrical bushings. They use them for BX cable. It's actually electrical code. But you know, when I say they won't put yet one more red cent in, you're looking at that red cent right here. They will not put any more than they have to in these things. That's all there is to it. That's all we needed to do. See? Now when it moves around, it's not rubbing up against the conduit. That's it. They won't spend any more money than they have to. They'll charge you a lot more. They're not gonna put any extra in it, that's for sure. That's the only one I saw. So I don't want to get it. Now we're getting the insulation in, you can see. We're gonna get the deck back on. All right, we've got things going down. Decking is there. I like to margin out and measure exactly where my screws go. I just feel more comfortable knowing that there is an adequate amount of screws. And we glued the heck out of it too. We always do. So then we'll be putting strips over there. You got a shoulder going over this. We'll cover some of that sin. But so we'll get rid of that. But that's what we're working on. We're trying to get her all squared away. You can see all the glue we got up under there. They're up under all of them, but those ones there, you know, they're kind of tight. You can't see the glue under there. But we glue and screw everything. Glue and screw goes on here. Now if this was wood, then I would be stapling it because you'd split the wood. But this here, we got to screw them down. And that's what we're working on right now. So they're just getting it there. Here to give you an update on what we got going on. So then as soon as we get this done, then like I said, we get our strips on and so forth, prep the roof, get the shoulders on, yada, 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 and get some roofing on here. That's what we're working with. All right, we're getting ready to roll the roof out. We already put new shoulders all the way down. Really nice. You get around that wire? Okay, we're gonna roll this out. Then we're gonna bring this other side over here. We're gonna flip it, and then we'll glue it. And we'll get this one done. All right, we got her down. Now we're taking this big, heavy roller. You need to use this roller. I watched somebody else on a YouTube channel, and they didn't use the roller on there, and they did put down 60 mil. I guess the customer wanted an RV roof, but evidently felt he'd get a better deal at that place and so forth. But anyhow, they never rolled it out. You need to roll that and pack it down. So we're good. Now we got to cut out for the curbs, start getting our shoulders together and everything else, and put new shoulders on here. I think I already showed you all that. Put all these shoulders on there. So we'll put a little more glue right here, I guess. We got to glue this too. Bring it around. Well, we've got both sides rolled out now. We got it all done. And now what we're doing is putting on the gutters. You can see we have some pads up here. I like to keep some pads up here to minimize any more dirt and filth getting up on there. If we got tools, I like to put them up on there instead of on the roofing. So now what we had to do, we brought this one up over, but this cap was a little big on here. We were able to get in the sleeve our shoulder in there, but then we had where it just wasn't seating right. So we built this up underneath a little bit so the transition would be smoother. So then obviously we got to wash all that nonsense down and try to get it to seat. This is a structured membrane, so we got to try to take, when we put it on, you got this roof coming up and then it kind of straightens out up there. It'll straighten out and go this way, right? So we have a little bit of a transition, and we may have just a slight burp, like right there where that red tape is. And that red tape is for us to know there's a wire under there. So we mark them all, make sure. And usually we've done them before with the passer. Someone will go, hey, remember there's a wire there, and we already know all that. But now I just want to make sure that we are all set with it, where everybody knows that there's no burps. It's just a smart thing to do. So I'm trying to mainstream it because I can't come up here all the time. So, and then I don't have to keep pointing everything out, right? It's already pointed. And that's about it. So now, like I said, we already got our holes cut out. You can see that. And that's, we're going to get the curbs on there, get them welded. So it's coming together. We're all done with our mobile suites. Got our counter flashing on our AC. So when the rain comes down, it'll go underneath our, we got counter flashing on the curb. And that's a counter flash that goes under the cover. So everything kind of flows down. This way when water's during the rain, it's not going to get up into the foam gasket. So we get that one. We got another one over there on this air conditioner. So we got those, and then everything's all heat welded in here. Everything's all heat welded. So probably we had to sit it outside for a minute, and then we brought it back in. But you know, it's got a little bit of probably needs a little bit more clean. And then I was up here, and my arms are all sweaty, and I was trying to show the customer how to do an inspection. And on an inspection, you're going to really just, you want to get this caulking on here. You want to kind of put a little bit of friction on it as you're rubbing it, and if it loosens up, that's how you know you need to put some more. You know, just another touch of love. But chances of it happening are really slim. It's a really good product. But then when you go around and do, like we do our checks on here to check the welds, just check it like this. We leave everybody with a care package. And if they see something, and obviously we'll adjust it, because we like to see these come back. You know, we like them 30 days. If it was 60, that'd be okay. I like to give people a little bit of time to plan things. But I do like to see them come back so we can make sure everything's done just right. Because we can catch things early. We have a lot of fail-safes built into the way we do our roof systems. So if we see something, we can catch it. You know, I want to make sure that my guys that are in the shop, I want to make sure they're doing their job as well. You see we got the stands right there on the air conditioner. That just helps gives us some balance, you know, because of the curb. And then you see all our curbs, they're all heat welded. Everything's all heat welded in here. So what's great about the way we mounted this wind guard on here, you got these bolts, and these bolts are secured down onto the roof deck. And then obviously coming up here, if you ever had an issue with this, all you'd have to do is just take a 9/16 right here, all around, take a 9/16, I guess, because these are 3/8 now, pop them off, and then you could undo your coax right here. Once you undo the coax, pop that off, go in the store, get another one. You may have to drill that out a little bit So you may have to drill that out just to accommodate the size of that. I'm pretty sure we had to just make them a little wider. And then you can pop it back on. The other way, how they do them, you have to keep clearing all that caulking out of there, and even some of the bat wings, I call them bat wings, like the Z1s and the King Jacks. If those fail, you got to really get all that caulking out. Then you have to go back and you have to reprime everything. Nothing's going to stick to the plastic. Got to reseal it. It's a little bit of a process. Those are more expensive, but in the long run, if you ever have any issue, especially when you're going to want to go camping, the last thing you want to do is spend 2 hours trying to remove and replace an antenna. So otherwise, you can also see the protective strips we got in here. You already saw all that during the video. And then, of course, we put our logo on here so we know the month and the year that we installed it. So when it comes back, we can see how the roof is performing. So we got this one here, June of 21. Trying to hold the camera right, probably messing it all up though. So we just put that on there. And again, if you ever want to sell it, you know, we don't want anybody trying to talk them down and go, hey, you got to put a roof on, these things stink, you know, they're all bad. No, this is still under warranty. So one of the things, if you look at the profile of this roof, it goes up and it goes up, then it goes down a little bit. Over that way, it starts leveling off a little bit, and it's also got some camber to it. Not a lot, but it has some camber. This commercial roof is it's a structured membrane. That means it has a weave in it, and it'll do 2-dimensional, but when you start getting into 3-dimensional, then you start having some issues. And once in a while, we're going to have, and it depends on the coach and how well the coach is square and even and all that. But you may notice a couple little ripples on the side there, especially where the transition is up there. You may notice it because now it's coming up, and it's going to leave like what they call a bird's mouth. The problem is on this one, it wasn't so great that it would have made a bigger bird's mouth. If it did, I could have welded it and folded it like I have done on some other ones. This one, it is what it is. I hate that expression, but sometimes it just fits. But that's it. So keep in mind, these are not DIY videos. We put them together so Mr. Customer and Mrs. Customer can see all the work we did. And there's a lot of times they'll ask us questions, what did you find? What did you find? Matter of fact, this customer did. He's about ready to go. He's already hooked up. And we just wanted to make sure everything was all set. He'd come in and we walked through everything to make sure all everything was working. Air conditioner's working, everything's working. We want to do that before you leave. So, and we do appreciate the work. I want to thank them for, bringing it all the way from Illinois down to us. We absolutely appreciate the work. And we appreciate, and customers come a long way. I want to make sure it's right for them. I'm not rolling it out when it's not right. And if he found something or anybody finds anything that we did, well, of course, bring it back. I mean, I'd be glad to fix it. I mean, I want the customers to get exactly what they paid for. And if we got guys in here that can't respect that, then, they can go out the door. We got to give them exactly what they paid for. Because if he really wanted to just put a sour job on here, he wouldn't have to travel all the way down to Georgia from Illinois. He could have got that crappy job done up there, right? And so we take pride in what we do, and I want to make sure it lasts a long time. That's why we do free inspections. So again, we appreciate everybody watching, and we see you in the next one.